There's one part of the sales process that many salespeople just do not like. They loathe it. They just feel that it's a waste of time. They recognize the outcome that could come from it, but it takes up a lot of time. You don't like to do it. It's a necessary evil. Can you guess what that activity is? It is... Check it out. I'll tell you in 1 second. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode today, we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, prospecting. Prospecting. I want to give you some hard stat on this as well. But before that, if this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of our videos, I'm going to ask you to do something very simple, something easy. Check it out. I want you to go ahead and subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and make sure you come back every single time because we're going to be dropping a message to you saying, hey, we got some new content I think you're going to like, and you're going to love it. The show is designed for two things. One, help you to build pipeline, and two, help you to accelerate deals to the pipeline quicker. Those are the two themes that we have. And today, I'm going to be talking about the first one, helping you build pipeline. This is a part of our series that we have, and it's the bonus episode 1998. You guessed that right. I've done 1,998 episode. Wow, a lot to talk about when it comes to sales. And we've been doing this since 2013. We've built 2 businesses on the back of podcasting. And if you're interested in a podcast, you should check out our other company. It's called Blue Mango Studios. But here's what we're going to be talking about. 40%. Prospecting take too long. That's one of the biggest issues that we come across with salespeople. And here's what it is. The play. Stop fishing with a net and start fishing with a spear. That's the idea that I want you to think about as we go into this next part. Spending 40% of your week finding people to sell to is a problem masquerade as prospecting. Straight up. Now, here's what I want you to understand is that yes, we do need to prospect, and I'm a big believer in it. We do have a tool called prospectpro.io, and we strongly believe in prospecting on the software in this company. We strongly believe in it with this podcast. I stress this, that you need to utilize LinkedIn, you need to utilize the phone, you need to utilize email, you need to do all of the methods that's going to best get you in front of a prospect. But we need to be more efficient. Let's go back to our cybersecurity example. CTOs, for example, they like to hide. They don't like to put themselves out there in many different places. So one of the things that you try to do, you want to reach out and connect with them. How can you best reach out and connect with the right people? So let's go back to our cybersecurity example. One of the things and stuff that I found when I helped cybersecurity companies is that you want to make sure that you have intent or relevant data. Now, sometimes you're not going to find this perfectly. Platforms such as ZoomInfo give some kind of help. You have tools like 6 Sense, and they'll cost a little bit more. But there are other platforms out there that you can utilize that gives you buyer intent data. And the buyer intent data is focused on things that buyers may be doing. So like, say, for example, somebody from an IP address perhaps have been researching endpoint solutions or endpoint protection for their company. If you're in a cybersecurity space, the cybersecurity people are going to say, Donald, that ain't exactly right. But you get what I'm trying to get at. They're reading an article that get registered on some of these dark web background. And then this is able to be turned into data that these data miners are able to get, such as ZoomInfo and some of these other platforms, and say, hey, these are some companies that have intent over the past 30 days. That's one of the challenges you find is the intent data gets not necessarily the most the most accurate, exactly at that time, but it's over a recent period of time. These people are looking. So you can reach out to somebody like that. You're not going to say, hey, I notice you're doing this. That's kind of creepy. You can say, one of the things that we notice that companies in your space, and you'll do your intro and all that jazz, companies in companies in your space right now are looking for ways to be able to get better endpoint protection for their organization. We just helped a government contractor do this. Would love to share with you if this is something that you're open to, or is this something that you guys are actively looking at, or is this something that you would be willing to learn? Is this a process you would like to understand if I could show you what they did? But something to that nature. The point, though, you're using a relevant information and you're tying to them and to their industry, and you use an example of somebody that you're validating with somebody, an example like of someone that you just recently helped. This makes you different, and this is why relevance is so important. You need to make sure you have that if you're going to be selling effectively, or if you're trying to become try to get in front of more of your prospects. The next thing I want you to understand when it comes to reaching out to your prospects, one way that many people going after with the spear is, now that you have a focused list of prospects, organization that has intent, and you're going after them, you can do that. You can also utilize LinkedIn. If you haven't done so already, you could check out LinkedIn for a 60-day trial for free. Go to linkedin.com/TSE. LinkedIn.com/TSE. You can find that as well. But here's a piece that I found that works well, is that you can do, if you were to go to a prospect's website, go to a prospect on LinkedIn, and you can search and see what organization they're connected to, or maybe people in your space or event. Maybe there's an association, a big cybersecurity association that they may be connected with as well, and maybe they have a conference coming up. You can go search for contacts, people who follow XYZ, or contacts of this cybersecurity influencer in our space, and you can find those individuals and filter people who have posted on the platform in the past 30 days, or maybe new to their roles. Those are some great people that you can go after, but you build in a focus list and you're going to go after those individuals. But this is way more intent now, because I have people that are going to this conference and that are new to their position and that have been posting on a platform. You may not get a huge list of thousands, but you may get a list of maybe a good 30, 40 people. Like, that is money right there. I would take that relevant over 4,000 people who are not relevant and have to do a blast and spray and pray to. This helps you shooting with a spear rather than with a net. The next piece I want to stress is networking as well. So we talk about you getting relevant data from platforms that can give you, like 6 Sense, ZoomInfo, etc. But you can also utilize LinkedIn to get some behavioral activities. And then the next component that I want to get on is referrals. Referrals. I'm saying this till the cows come home. Referrals work. And here's the reason why referrals work. I want to put some data into this so you can see. I talked about this on multiple episodes over the past 10 years. And one of the things we find is that 9 in 10 prospects said they're willing to give a referral, but only about 11% of salespeople, so like say 1 in 10, actually ask for referrals. Why? Because they're afraid of rejection. They don't know how to do it. And I think one of the bigger one, it's an afterthought. So I don't want you to make a referral an afterthought. I want you to make it part of your system, because those prospects are going to have a higher chance of closing. So if I get a new deal and a client that just closed, and if I have a book of business, I'm going to reach out to those individuals and say, let's say they just got the solution 6 months ago. I might say, 6 months ago, Mary, who are some of your other CTOs you're aware of that may be feeling some of the same challenges that you guys were feeling 6 months ago? Or maybe they've been with us for 2 years. John, 2 years ago, who are some of the customers? Who are some other IT directors or some CTOs or CISOs that you're aware of in your network that may be feeling some of the pains that XYZ, your company, were facing 2 years ago? I might say, oh, geez, actually, I was just at a networking event. Somebody mentioned this, blah, 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 blah. Those are some people you need to follow up on, and you can ask them for introduction to those individuals. If you want to get more details on that, you can check out just go back into a podcast feed and search referrals, sales evangelists, and you see plenty. We'll have one link down below in the show notes as well that can link back to one of our previous episodes around referrals. But that's going to help. The next thing that I can tell you is going to events. Now, cybersecurity have niche events that you can go to. So these can be, one of the things one of our clients did. They went to little cocktail hours. They went to little meetups that were put together for CTOs and folks in the tech space, and they were able to in the cybersecurity space, and they were able to have conversations and to make connections. And that was one way that they found success. When they were able to get some warm introduction. And definitely it's going to be helpful. But here's the piece that I want you to go back on. When it comes to events and comes to prospecting, you got to make sure you follow up. 81%, I believe, or 80% of leads never get followed up on. 80%. So you want to make sure within 48 hours, if you leave in that conference, 24 hours is great. Or if you have some AI help, make sure people are getting home. Or if it's a local event, you can hit them up the next day. Don't wait too long. 24 hours is probably maybe more like 12 hours. Even I would do something right after the event, send them a message, say, hey, it was great meeting you. I look forward to connecting with you. Tomorrow is one of these times work to best connect. But the thing is, follow up with those people. And it's not one follow-up, it's multiple follow-up. But most people, 80% of those people don't get followed up on within that set period of time. So I need you to change that. Here's the actual stat. 81% of trade show attendees have buying authority, and 80% of these leads, there you go, never get followed up on. And that is the startling part. For us who are in cybersecurity, for you that in B2B sales, for you that's in manufacturing, you that's in SaaS software, wherever your industry is, you have similar stats that you could use and you could look at. But those are the things that I'm going to tell you that's going to help you. One, I want you to make sure you use intent. Two, I want you to make sure that you're utilizing LinkedIn. Three, I want you to take advantage of referrals. Four, I want you to take advantage of local events. And five, follow up with these people. Hopefully this has helped you out and this can give you some guidance. We went over a lot over the past couple of weeks for these episodes. We gave you some thoughts on some of the most common reasons, gave you some data behind that on why these are the case. This is the case, and how you can make sure you're better and you're being more effective. I would love to hear from you. What are some of the reasons that you've seen that people are missing quota in the past quarter? Go ahead and drop me a message on LinkedIn. Would love to hear from you. Again, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to go out and do big things. Thanks for watching the series.